I wonder how did people respond to that when you went to screenings? Like, how did the public respond to this sort of different, sort of more, that's difficult to grasp kind of narrative?
Uh, I I mean, I admit it's been pretty discouraging for me in a way to screen this film because I guess I felt that it's very personal, but I think it's been very difficult for most audiences to get into. I think Munyurangabo, the first film, had much more of a defined story and plot that people could step into. And for me, my favorite parts of Munyurangabo were the parts that did not seem to be as story-driven. So I wanted to, make a film that might be able to just move along non-narrative points. I guess, recently I like that filmmaker, Apichat Pang Wirasatako, and like Ho Xiaoshan, for instance. There are a lot of filmmakers who aren't necessarily just telling a straight story. But showing the film, what I've noticed is that usually I'm quite dismayed after a screening because I noticed a lot of people are leaving and I've heard some negative comments as they're walking out the door. But then there are always maybe a handful of people who stick around and seem to say that they're very moved by the film, that they connected very deeply with it, which is different from Munyurangabo. I don't think I had so many people who seemed to feel that the film was very personal to them.
Which one? You mean for Munyurangabo? People didn't feel it was personal to them? Or for this one?
Well, it seems like with Lucky Life, there are a greater number of people who seem to be very profoundly affected by it. With Munyurangabo, I thought there was just a greater general appreciation for the film. And I think it has to do with the way I chose to tell the story. So, I mean, I find myself interested in for instance, the long conversation scenes, I think, can cause problems for people. But I find myself interested in just listening to the way people put things. We improvised a lot of the scenes, so a lot of times I just let the camera run, and which I guess was true for Munyurangabo too. There are a lot of long dialogue scenes that's just a single take. But somehow those moments really interest me. So it's nice when I meet someone who's also interested in things like that, but I do think it's not very commercial, so I don't know if I can continue doing this. Yeah.
Really? Do you think this is something that has turned you off to this kind of, I don't know, this kind of quality searching films that you make? The long conversations, the patience, because that's what I like about your films, is that it's so patient.
Yeah, well, yeah, thank you for that. I guess I do feel like I'm moving in a different direction now with the script that I'm writing, and it's something I'm shooting this fall. I guess I'm just trying something new. I'd like to try something new, just because I feel like Lucky Life was something that's so deeply personal, and it was me trying to push a certain way of filmmaking to the limit in terms of the way that I could do it. Not cinema as a whole, of course, but just in the way that I might approach a subject. So now I think I'm still trying. I still feel like I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing as a filmmaker, and the types of films I want to make. So the next one is very plot driven. I think even more than Munyurangabo. Well, I guess it's quite character driven too, but I think it's gonna feel a little faster. But I'm not sure. My sensibilities are a little strange, so I don't know how it'll turn out.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that, like the next film that you're doing, or?
Yeah, it's called No Love Lost, and it's a film with Amanda Plummer, who I don't know if you watch Pulp Fiction or yeah, she plays opposite Tim Roth, the Honey Bunny character.
Oh yeah.
Robs the diner. Yes, so she's one of the leads, and then I don't know if you watch Day Night.
No.
It's a recent film.
I haven't seen that.
From the US. Yes. Okay. So there's an actress who is in that film who's also going to be in this, Louisa Williams. And then I'm still trying to find a guy, but it's about these three characters who rob a bank, basically, or they burglarize a bank, and they're completely loving and completely pure individuals who have been unsuccessful at anything in their lives except for this one thing of actually being able to steal this massive amount of money. So yeah, it's going to be it's almost a comedy, but not completely.
Did you write the script?
Yeah, I'm currently writing it right now. I'm trying to finish it up. Yeah.
Well, that
but we're going to shoot in November.
Oh, starting November.
Yeah.
Is it going to be are you going to shoot in the States?
Yeah, I guess I'll be shooting in New Jersey.
Okay. Well, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, I hope so. It's very different.
Okay, before we get into sort of too philosophical, because there are things I still want to talk to you about, but there were a few things I really wanted to ask you. So the first time I saw the film, I was so, I guess, sort of engulfed in the memory structure of it that I didn't really notice Mark's relationship with Alex, the two main characters, which the second time I saw it, I really realized there was a sort of interesting dynamic between them, which I'm not sure I'm sure it was intentional, but I'm not sure how intentional you wanted to portray that, because I thought there was almost sort of, for me, it was almost an idealism versus realism comparison between them going on, and I sense a little bit of a resentment even between them. I'm not sure, was that something that, can you talk a little bit more about that? Like what you envisioned those two characters and the dynamic between them as?
Yeah, it's funny, the original draft for Lucky Life, I changed the script a lot, but the first draft, it was very much built upon a conflict between Alex and Mark, in which Alex is the realist and Mark is kind of the idealist who wants to side with Jason, who is having, who believes that he'll be healed. So that was kind of the original idea, and it changed and changed, but I still told the actors that this is the way that I'd like the characters to be, the way that I want the characters to think about each other. So it's great that you picked up on that, because I think a lot of that came from the acting, because they were bringing that sense in the film. Yeah, the character who plays Alex, he was actually a college roommate of mine, and I think he's very much a romantic, even though he has this persona, or he seems very practically minded. I think at heart he's very much romantic. But yeah, it was funny to put him into this role and to see him really run with it. I think he enjoyed it.